Gentlemen, are you ready for episode 18 of the Seller Club podcast?
Let's go. We ready.
Awesome.
We ready.
Welcome, everybody. Let's drop the beat. That's so much better. Man, I love the beat. So, hey guys, how are you?
Good.
We're doing
last episode for February.
Oh my gosh, true.
It's gonna be March already.
I was gonna say, is it just me or is this year going kind of fast?
I know, the February month's going quick and it's just on to the next.
I welcome it though.
Non-stop.
I feel like usually the first couple months of the year feel kind of draggy, and it really hasn't. It's been pretty busy.
That is true.
Yeah,
Well,
it
given
has
the
been busy.
fact this year we're getting an extra day on February.
That's
and
right.
It's still going fast.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
are you guys doing anything special for Leap Day?
No,
Should we
probably
do
like.
something special?
Oh,
We should.
I think I am.
We should.
Hold on, I'm gonna
You
check
are?
my
for
planner.
Leap Day.
Before I say it wrong, yes, I'm going to see Dune 2 in IMAX,
Oh, okay.
which
There we go.
I am super
That's
excited
actually
about.
something special.
It's gonna be freaking awesome, and also
Glenn, have
I
you
know
seen the
Snoop
first
Doggy
one?
is excited about it too. So
I've not seen the first one. Matter
Oh.
of fact, ever since having a kid, I haven't gone anywhere or done much.
I mean,
Well, actually, I
Netflix
could
and
watch
chill.
the first one. Yeah, I could watch the first one.
At least
but,
the first one, and the next year you watch the Dune 2.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what? I like that.
I don't know if
you're
they're.
like a year behind.
I don't know if they're doing this, but the scope and the scale of Dune is so epic. I feel like they should always, if there's going to be more or whatever, I don't know, but like
Yeah,
they
they
should
should.
show the previous one in IMAX before so that you can get the whole, because
Ooh.
it's so incredible, like in
Yeah.
theater, but especially IMAX. It's like made for
the
that.
story is very unique.
It's-
very
yeah.
unique. It's like none other.
Yeah.
So,
I
I
love it.
actually was like, yeah. When I first watched it, I was like, kind of weird, right? The trailer was different, and then when I got into it, I was like, oh, like just kind of like doesn't it like the plot was just different. So
Yeah, it's
But
so
if Kenny approves,
interesting.
then I'll.
yeah, it's
Okay.
it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Well, I
it's
think
good.
we twisted Glenn's arm enough.
Yeah,
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 I'll give it a
He
shot.
has to. He
He's
has
like,
to.
fine.
I mean, just kind of like what we did with Anna. You know, Anna's here with us doing a podcast and doing so many things with social media, which is kind of like our topic today.
Wow,
Segue. There you go,
Mr.
Anna.
Segue. It is, in fact.
Mhm.
We are
Yep.
going to talk about social media. And it's true, if anybody in this group is the apprentice of social media, it's me, because you guys have been thriving with social media for many years. And meanwhile,
Whoa, thriving.
thriving,
Wow,
moisturized,
it's a
okay.
compliment. It's a
unbothered.
compliment.
Yes,
Oh, okay, good.
it is a compliment.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But for me, I'm just like, man, social media it's just a totally different beast. It's always changing.
Yes.
And okay, keep going. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
you're
Go
totally
on.
fine.
Yeah,
I want to get
Glenn's already
I wanna
jumping
get
the
right
gun.
into
He's
that.
already
I
like-
know. I
yeah,
am.
I've had
Yeah.
I
a
know.
very love-hate and at times hate-hate relationship with social media. So the fact that it's going well and I'm enjoying it and getting something out of it, contributing in a positive way now is borderline miraculous. But you guys have done, social media is a very broad umbrella. So I want to hear about what you guys have done, with social media, how that relates to your selling and reselling businesses, what you use it for, what you don't use it for. I think across our Seller Club members here and our friends of the show and everything and people that we know, it's like there's a big spectrum of how to use it and why and when to and when not to. So I'm just curious. I think this is a big topic to open up, and you guys are the perfect guys to talk about it with. So who wants to go first? Glenn, you were just like diving in. Would you just like to go?
Sure, why not?
So tell us, how does it work for you?
Oh man. So I've always seen this comment over and over again, and it's like resellers and reselling is like the only business that people just openly just share their sourcing, their selling, their secrets to everybody, kind of like, opening up competition. and no other business does this. You know, like
everyone else
you know,
is gatekeeping
Taco Bell's not going to tell us. Yeah, exactly.
what's in the meat.
And they're not going to tell us
Quote,
what's in the meat. Secret recipe. Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
They wouldn't share that.
I love you, Taco Bell.
But with us,
we will accept your sponsorship.
yeah, Taco Bell. We definitely love,
No,
Right?
Baja Blast.
Baja Blast.
In Selling Club Green. Can we
and
get
so
a green one?
We're just weird. What? You know what? Okay, we could do green. Definitely green.
I'm just saying. Anyway.
So it's just like I get that point. And I feel like if you do create social media for reselling, you want to try to build a community and relate to one another, because it can get a little lonely and you have something in common, maybe common goals and things like that. But if I still don't see it as a bad thing though, I guess, to kind of like somewhat open competition, just because not everybody's going to have that drive to
Follow
stay
through.
with it, keep with it, exactly, and keep building their business. And from creating the channel, like we've talked about this before, but going deeper into it, like I know no one else had Ross videos sourcing from Ross and sourcing from Burlington and these type of stores. A lot of people didn't even know what these stores even really were. Burlington was a coat factory.
That's right.
And people were just like, all they have is coats.
Factory.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have anything else there, so why would I go in? And so creating those videos, I knew it was something new. I was like, hey, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. People will watch. But then over time, and you know, Ken got it too, to be like, why would you guys create more competition for you know, yourself to show, hey, there's these Kobe's at Burlington, and then there's these football cleats. Like when Ken got 300 pairs, they're at Burlington, they're $20.
Right.
You know, why would you do that? And so the crazy thing is, I don't know how it would be maybe from a different. I remember talking to sellers that had been doing that for many years, and they were pretty angry. Like, I remember one guy sent me like a long email.
Because you're blowing their cover.
I've been doing this for so long. Why would you create like videos on this? Why would you show? The funny thing is, if I didn't do it, someone else would have done it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, someone else would have created TikToks, video. There's a ton of them now on all platforms of them sourcing at these stores.
I hope he saved that letter so he could just copy and paste it, you know?
All right.
Who has time for that letter writing anymore? Yeah. Sheesh.
I know, exactly. So it's a double-edged sword. You could win, you cannot win, but I think going into the mindset part of it, I didn't go into that thinking that I'm just going to destroy my own business or anything like that. And how much I've learned from so many different sellers. I give Ken like a lot of credit. Sneakers Envy is always helping. Different ideas on sourcing and different ideas on selling. And, you know, there's a lot there that I've never would have met anybody if it wasn't for starting something like the channel.
Right.
So there's my take.
Love it. I mean, it sounds like the good definitely outweighs the bad. And I mean, you said this before too, like it's always changing. Social media is always changing, but also like our market and our selling, like, you know, situation and sourcing situation, like all of that is always changing. So, you know, I think there's a bit of a scarcity mindset there for a lot of people, at least, who are like, no, don't tell anyone about this, you know, like, well, okay, you might be able to like lock it down and like protect that for a time, but it's not a permanent thing anyway. Like, we all have to stay nimble, you know, in this business. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I don't see that as a huge threat, and I feel like there's way more good that comes out of sharing our own experiences, and especially encouraging people to find their own way, but, you know, with the guideline of like, here's one example. Like, I think that's one of the most helpful ways to share anything on social media that relates to like doing the business, you know, like that's one of the most helpful ways. It's specific, but it's not like, here's my 5 magic steps to making $1 million doing exactly what I do. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah. Which people would love that, but Everybody's situation is
Yeah.
different. So even if you did follow somewhat of a
Yeah.
plan, I mean, you have to put in the work that comes with
That's
it,
the
and it's
thing.
not going to be easy for everybody. And then social media, you have the toxic side of it too, to where not everything is real. Things you see, you're just like, this is totally, you're not making this amount of money, you're not doing this great, but yet I want to show people that I
Yeah.
am. And what is the, like, what's the whole theory behind it? Is it because I want to get you on making money on courses or something and
Right.
teach you that you could do this even though I'm not really doing it?
Right.
Um, what is ideas behind this kind of stuff? It's just to make people jealous or something, or people are weird, and we've seen so many different things go on that I'm like, nothing really shocks me and Kenny at this point because
Yeah.
we've seen it all. But whenever there is something like that, we like to break it down to like what is really possible, you know, on like whether they're posting numbers or have a store, eBay store or things like that.
Yeah.
Where could someone be getting some of these products at a certain price? Or we like to just kind of, I don't know, backwards engineer the whole thing to see what is real and what is not.
Yeah. I'm sure
Yeah.
too. It just with your own experience, especially in a certain niche, it's like you probably have a pretty good gut feeling on that when you see what you see, and you're like, I'm not sure about that. That looks sus to me.
Yeah.
But you have the
Yeah.
experience and the credibility to like trust that instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is
Oh,
discouraging.
I want to
see
get
that.
Kenny's take.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's really what. But it could be with anything though,
Sure.
right? Not even just with business. That's what got a lot of people wanting. I don't know, plastic surgeries or something, or I want to look just as good as this person, or
Ooh.
people comparing
Oh my gosh,
their
yes.
loved ones and kids and jobs and cars and lifestyle, and it's just
Yeah. It kind
that's
of
all
it kind
bad.
of never ends, like honestly.
Yeah,
Fully
exactly.
integrated now into every aspect of our lives. All right, Ken, let her rip.
Let her rip. Basically, the reason why I wanted to do my own social media was just because I saw a model that Glenn did, especially with YouTube, that he was, helping other people. First, I created my Instagram just so I could have a separate account for my personal. I was really weirded out about showing my face first. So I actually, in my first, I would say first 6 to 8 months, I didn't show my face
Yeah.
on social media because I didn't want anybody to recognize me. So it was always just my hand, the fines and everything like that, and a lot of it had to do with just you know like anybody. I was like had my guards up and stuff like that, and then I started to realize like wait, like I'm starting to make friends here. I'm starting, at that point we were watching Glenn's YouTube videos and we were joining his live show every Wednesday. This was before me being a co-host there. um, and I was like, oh, like I'd love to connect with these people. So, social media became kind of like a community for me. It created a way to connect with people that are in different places, because besides Sneakers Envy in Cincinnati in our area, I really don't know or have connected with anybody. But even him, he came in way later on the journey.
Yeah.
So early on, it was kind of like very kind of like everybody says like entrepreneurial journey is very lonely. So like for me, I knew that off the bat, and I wanted to find a community. I wanted to find friends, and it has evolved through like, okay, let me just document this journey because I want to see how far we could take this.
Yeah.
And and then it literally just became, the Hustle Bee became a brand, and the Hustle Bee became kind of like a personality. And I was like, and it became like a model, like what Glenn was saying, like we're really not teaching you what to do. We're just showing you a model that it can be done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll share all the best business practices, but at the end of the day, you still have to follow it, and you still have to create it your own way.
For
Like,
sure.
I look at it as like cooking, right? It's like, baking a cake, you have flour, oil, butter, eggs. That's literally what we're telling everybody. This is what you need,
Sugar.
and sugar. There you go, and everything nice, right?
Yeah,
and,
it's spice.
and,
Yeah.
and then yeah, like you could add peanuts, you can add whatever you want in there, or you could add chocolate to make it a chocolate cake. And it's like I wanted people to see that entrepreneurial is kind of like an art, or an art in itself, because being a businessman, being an entrepreneur is two different things. Businessman just definitely rides the same horse like everybody does, and just does it faster. Now the entrepreneur is like, rides the horse, has a cool outfit, has some speakers, has some lights, just kind of like makes it a little bit different and attractive to other people. And that's kind of like what I wanted to show people. And also, being an immigrant, I was like, man, this is the land of opportunity.
Right.
I want to show everybody that, a dude that just has, started with 2 suitcases could create something for, him and his wife, and ultimately, provide for them and live a life that they've created. So, like, I think, again, like you said, there's so much good that came out of it, out of all the bad. Yes, the bad kind of like just stinks when it
Yeah.
happens, but like anything else, it's not gonna be all 100% perfect. It's not gonna be all 100% good, but I think, going back to, like, social media can be very toxic at times. It's like, for me, my solution to it is like, I'm not gonna be doing social media or just standing behind saying like, oh, you're doing bad, that's toxic. Instead, like, I want to put out good.
Right.
I want to highlight good. I want to make positivity louder. So that's kind of like been my take, and it still is. It's just, the bigger the business has gotten, it's just becoming harder and harder to be more consistent,
For
and
sure.
to do more content around what we do. So that's kind of like the challenge, or decision you have to make. Do you lean into social media more,
Yeah.
or do you lean into building a bigger business?
Well, and you guys, I mean, neither one of you, to my knowledge, like, uses your social media to actually directly sell to customers. Like, maybe there's some peripheral way that's, that funnels people
Yeah.
to your store, but that's not really the point. And like you said,
No,
it's the journey. And both of you guys started putting out, consistent social media content when you were like more or less in the beginning of what you were doing. And I wondered that too,
Yeah.
like, for you guys, because I entered the social media scene way later, after I had well established my business already. But even still, like, it is always changing. I want to grow my business every year. Like, I want to change and iterate and be better. And even not being a beginner and like kind of starting a business and the social media that aligns with it at the same time, I feel like it makes me, it's almost like you have some skin in the game, not necessarily because people are watching. I mean, I'm sure that's a little part of it, but like, for your own, documenting your own journey, for accountability and consistency, it's like another layer of accountability to keep pushing yourself and to keep doing the activities that you do kind of like show on social media, the front facing stuff. Like, I like to make reels about shipping and about doing big photography days where I photograph a whole bunch of items at once. And, sometimes it's like, I might have deferred from my plan and procrastinated, but I knew, hey, I really want to make a reel about this because it connects with people and it motivates people to list their death pile. So, that's a little extra push for me to be more consistent in my business. But what was that like for you guys, like, starting out your social media more close to the time that you were kind of starting out in your business? And like, was that scary to go like, well, what if I fail at this and then I'm just documenting my failure in detail for everyone? Like, how was that kind of starting those together?
Well, I think that you hit it right, that it has to be about the journey more than anything, especially when you're just starting. Because if you're, even if you're like, I don't know, a year in, it doesn't already make you some sort of guru either.
Not at all.
Like, the journey, it seems like on social media, the journey can snap into like guru right
Real
away.
quick.
Just because Yeah,
Like
you hit
yeah, let me tell you how I made $10,000 in an hour. You know, like you might have done it once,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
is it repeatable for
Yeah.
you to just be confidently saying that out loud that you can't teach people to do it?
Right.
Or maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in business and social media, actually on both, is like one thing can change and then you're done for type of thing. Or like you're in an automatic struggle for the next who knows how long until you can kind of snap out of that. It's not like a consistent job that you get to go in and, yeah, you can get laid off and things like that, but you're pretty much, solid in there unless you do something dumb. But other than that, you're going into work daily. With the job, I mean, with eBay or selling on any social or platform that you're doing that on, it's just like you have to keep it consistent. It's all on you, and so it could just disappear if you're not being consistent.
Yeah.
And then social media, the same thing. Like
Right.
one video.
It seems hard. Like, okay, it's all on me, right? All the pressure to actually succeed at my business is on me. And then I'm also going to put a spotlight on myself and how I'm doing it. Like, that seems
Yeah.
like doubling down in a way. But I honestly think that's what's so powerful about getting the opportunity through social media to have other people's example, because it's very vulnerable. And that's what makes it useful, and that's what makes it inspiring, right? It's like when you're not just seeing the highlight reel and you're not just seeing the headline, you're seeing the whole process.
Yeah.
Like, it takes that. But it does require a doubling down of sorts on that kind of commitment to see it through, which is hard.
Yeah. And we have seen some of the journey people
Yeah.
that have failed and kind of disappeared, or they went into something else and then that didn't actually work out.
Yeah.
Like me and Ken, we had talked to like a seller that had done pretty decent on the Ross Burlington flips on eBay side, and then when cards got hot, completely changed
Oh, wow.
into the card stuff, and then finally at some point I think they were just like, yeah, this is not doing well at all, and compared to where they were at. But when things are hot, you want to like jump in
Yeah.
and try it out. But then the one that you were doing to begin with, is slowly building and it's getting there and you're finding that success, but are you willing to wait it out and build it? And there's a lot of patience that goes with it as well, that social media doesn't necessarily show all the time either.
Right.
So
But that
Yeah.
takes its own kind of patience too, right? Because
yeah.
I mean, even just like social media platforms, like platform to platform, how you build like a following and an interested, community of people who get value out of what you're putting out there into the world. Like, that usually isn't overnight either.
Yeah. I think to go
Yeah.
back to your question though, how did I feel, I guess, building it
Yeah.
and the journey at the same time as starting the business? I feel like it was probably the best opportunity to do it, because when I look at it now, the business wasn't really that big.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I did have the time
You had extra
Yeah,
time
you
for
could.
sure.
Yeah, that's a good
to
point.
do the videos,
Yeah.
to edit and take as long as I need because I'm still learning it, and to kind of like learn things at once, and also still working. I wasn't just solely depending on a full-time income from eBay
Right.
and or any other platform. So I feel like I did have that time to share the journey. Now at this point where I'm a full-time reseller, it's a lot harder to like put out the videos,
Yeah.
the content, the everything else. I'm like, and you find different ways, like you said too, as a business grows, different ways to source, different ways to ship, different, the business is growing, so you're constantly changing as well. It gets difficult at a certain point as you grow. What do you think, Kenny?
I love that. I love that perspective. Thanks for sharing it.
I think for me it was an accountability factor for me. Putting out there that I'm doing this work and I'm doing this business was a challenge for me to actually walk the talk. I am the person that, in a way that I actually put a little bit more weight about what people think of me and just the reputation that I build throughout the community. And I would one of my biggest that scares me is like, oh, Kenny said this,
Yeah.
but he actually didn't back it up.
Right.
Like for me, that kind of like that's like a fear factor for me, that if I said it, I have to do it now.
Totally.
You know, like it might have been reckless at that moment that I said it, but because I put it out there, especially on social media, I don't want to make a clown out of myself.
That's what you get for winging it, Ken. That's what you get.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and so far, I think I pretty much did everything I said.
Yeah.
So, you know, and again, that just goes to really knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And the power of social media for some people, it may be just like, oh, like Ken's giving, but also I'm actually giving it out there because I needed that. You know, I needed
it's what
that
you
form
needed.
of commitment. Yeah, that like, okay, I'm going to create a business that's going to be 6 figures. And as soon as I said that, I said, I'm going to share it once I figured it out. And I literally had my first Instagram live show, and I walked them through how I was going to do it. And then as soon as that ended, I'm like, oh, crap, I got to do this now. And that was my plan. It was on a whiteboard, you know, and I was like, okay. And that thing stuck there for a year until I made it happen in our first year. So it was definitely an accountability factor for me that, like you said, it's another added pressure that you did, but I needed that.
Yeah, the pressure makes you perform. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I relate a lot to that, especially just the doing what you say you're going to do. Like, that is a very deep conviction for me. Like, it's just a matter of character, which is extremely important to me. So, you know, yes, of course, I don't want to like disappoint other people or, you know, mislead anyone, or just, you know, I don't want people to have the impression that I don't do what I say I'm going to do. But even if it was just me alone on an island, like, I'm going to freaking do what I said I was going to do, you know, like, it's just a matter of internal consistency that is so important to me at my core. And yeah, social media is like, I mean, it's one way to just have the track record to look back at, and, you know, like, it's all right there. Like, that is a pretty serious, concrete form of accountability of like, are you actually doing what you said? And also, like, I just want to make a caveat to that for anybody who feels really strongly about it too, that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to like change your mind or pivot, you know, in your business.
That's true.
I mean, that's okay. And also, like, none of us are obligated, none of us and none of anybody listening or anyone in the world is obligated to share everything with everyone or to share everything on social media. Like, that's okay. You can have privacy too, but like, you know, it's kind of like, if you can honestly share what you're doing with like a level of granularity that's consistent, like, people are going to see that you're really trying to make a clear example, or you're trying to be transparent, right? You're trying to really show all of it, even though like we can't all show everything. And you know, it's not appropriate. Like, you have to use discretion with every little detail, right? Like,
for sure,
it's good to be an open book, but it's okay to have a sense of that too. And I feel like saying that because I feel like some people almost put themselves in a corner where they're like, well, if I don't show like every little thing, that it's not truly being honest. And it's like, you have to judge that for yourself, but like, don't overshare either. Sure. There is such a thing as oversharing, and you are not obligated to do it. So I just want to throw that out there. But did you guys ever, I mean, okay, actually, let me back up and ask this question. I'm just thinking about live selling, right? And now there's like live selling on multiple platforms. You guys have both done it / are doing it. Do you consider that as social media in any way? How do you differentiate the two? Have you ever sold on a more traditionally social media platform like Facebook or Instagram? Like, why or why not? How does all that work for you guys?
Like using our social media platform?
Yeah, like, do you feel like live selling within selling platforms is trending towards being a social media, or it's a blend or something? And separate question is, have you ever sold on like Facebook Live or like Instagram Live? Like, I've seen a lot of people just doing story sales, and
yeah.
their whole business is just on Instagram, like, which, that's never how I've done it. I've never done that once, but I'm just curious, like, what you guys think about that, and why or why not you've done it or not done it. I kind of asked you
Well,
like
I
four
think-
questions. Sorry.
No, you're good. No,
I have so
think
many
you just
questions.
Whatnot, yeah, Whatnot I think is kind of like a combo of like the social media with the whole business aspect to it. And I feel like when we started off on Whatnot, a lot of our buyers were people that we had already kind of engaged with the channel. So people that were with us on our Wednesdays live shows, they were kind of supporting us a lot in the very beginning. Also, I'd probably say for the good like first year.
Yeah.
And then we would see some new buyers come in here and there. But for the most part, a lot of people that have been following the channel did buy, some stuff from us that we appreciated. And I think without us building the social media side, it would have been a lot harder to get into Whatnot and just start selling,
Yeah.
a ton of stuff.
Because a lot of
on
your
the,
followers are like
Facebook-
collectors, right? Like, is sneakerheads
Yeah,
who are
or
building their
shoes
own.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah,
building their
or
own.
even a lot of them too just wanted to buy, get a deal, and flip it on eBay.
And you're like, that's
So
cool.
if they
I
could-
want to sell it.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to, source from us and flip it, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that did help. I think social media and bringing in a following already on the Whatnot side. Facebook Marketplace, I haven't really sold anything. I tried buying from somebody and sourcing, but that didn't really work out. I don't know.
Like, I
The price was
tried.
like, I tried. And then I do see people killing it on TikTok
Yeah.
and selling on TikTok. So that would be something I'd be interested in, actually. I don't know if it's like a TikTok live type of selling format as well. And, there's new platforms constantly changing on things. And we know eBay Live as well. Ken has sold on eBay
Yeah.
Live.
Poshmark
So,
has it. There's
Yeah.
Jamble, right?
Yep.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah, I think, to kind of like it eventually evolves into both, both intersects, because having a social media presence becomes like your personal brand, right? Whether you're using your name or you're using a quote unquote, also known as the hustle
Yeah.
bee,
Your moniker.
Um,
Yeah.
right, your moniker, right? I think it just gives more, it's another layer of buyer protection that's like, oh, like, Hustlebee's not gonna, scam me for this
Yeah.
$100 shoe,
Gives
right? Like,
you some
because his reputation,
trust,
yeah,
yeah.
He, like, kind of like a more, reassurance. And like, looking at different buyer behaviors, there are people that don't care, right? They always realize like, oh, my credit card is gonna back me up if somebody scams me, right? But there are people that are super extra diligent with who they buy with, and there are people that actually only buy from people that they truly believe in, right? Like, like the whole, support small businesses,
Right.
right? Like, I think that's another sector of buyers. So I think eventually, like, there are big box stores that people don't want to buy from because they're always saying like, oh, this thing's kind of like, like it's capitalism,
Yeah, or
like
it's
we're not really
corrupt.
truly
Yeah.
directly, kind of like that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And like at a certain level, I totally agree on that. Like, if you have the option to buy from somebody that kind of like inspires you, that have helped you, or I mean, sometimes that have entertained you, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's why, like, like sneakers is very heavily tied into basketball, hip hop, and culture, right? And that's why they rock it, because they want to pay homage or pay respect or try to wear something that they're, somebody that they look up to wears. So I think that's kind of like being a social media person or a personality becomes like a micro influencer that because you're you said this is a good product, it's, you know, your recommendation holds more weight now.
Yeah. And your taste and your style. I mean,
Yep.
yeah. People are taking cues for sure.
So what about you jumping into social media after building a business? How do you feel?
I feel as though I was dragged by Ken. No, I mean, seriously.
You're like, my life was so pleasant.
It was so
without the social media
private
side."
It was
And-
so simple.
No, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, I had social media. I actually remember this was like such a long time ago now. It feels like I literally can't even, I think it was like 2013 or 2014. Can't remember exactly. But I was on a trip to the DC area to see the Killers in concert. Absolutely incredible. One of the best shows of my life. Brandon Flowers, I love you forever. And I got Instagram on that trip because I was on a trip with friends and also family members, kind of, which was fun. And I like remember, you know, being like, wow, this is so different than Facebook. And like all in college, I had Facebook and it was just kind of like a normal thing. It felt like a totally different vibe than it is now. Now I'm really like super not on Facebook. I still exist on Facebook, but I am never on it. I don't really use it, I guess I could say. But Instagram is something that I have come back and forth to like over the years. And, you know, years ago also I had a podcast called the Doing Scary Things podcast with my friend Katie. And Katie and I've talked about this before and actually in our intro episodes for this podcast, but she and I recorded and released music together. And so we had like Instagram accounts for our Doing Scary Things podcast and for the music. And so we were like on a schedule and collaborating on content and stuff to put out for both of those because they're like creative projects and we obviously want people to find them, right? The projects themselves are both like positive things that we've already put out into the world. And we're just like grassroots, you know, sharing it and marketing and whatever. And it was really cool. And thank God for Katie because she did most of, almost all of the social media stuff. I would like reshare or like occasionally, I don't even remember, probably help write captions or something. I can't remember, but God bless her for doing most of it because I like hated it. Like I like working on social media was like a hard pill to swallow for me all the time because I just like overthought it and I got stuck scrolling and comparing and I just like didn't, it was not for me. I just didn't like it. I felt like it was just really hard. Like I got sucked into a lot of the toxic parts of it, of just like being on those platforms. And so then there were like years that I didn't use it at all. And eventually, this is where Ken comes in being like, you know, you should really share some of this on social media instead of writing a book like you're from the 1800s. Like you should like do the modern day version and share your life on social media.
Right.
And so I did. I was like, you know, I'm not opposed to it overall if I can do it in like a lighthearted and like non-toxic way and not get dragged into that kind of stuff. And so fortunately, for whatever reason, probably many factors converging, you know, now, and I have like a personal account and I have my eBay store, my Anesthetic Miscellany account on Instagram. I'm also not on TikTok, not on any other social media, like just Instagram. I can manage one, you know, but I have like my 2 separate accounts and I very rarely post stuff on my personal, but I tend to the business one because I feel like it is there to ultimately to help other people and to document my journey, which is something that I wish I had done more of, you know, but I felt this strong impulse to document my journey so much so that I wrote a whole book about my journey. So I was like, okay, it's probably worth it to continue documenting the journey in this other way. And so it's been really cool. And really, I truly have connected with people on like a deeper level in a meaningful way. I mean, I have like truly people I would call friends now that I never would have met if I wasn't putting out social media content around what I do with my eBay store. So it's cool. Like, and that has a positive momentum to it. Like now it's a normal thing and I'm like used to, you know, building in time and energy to create content. But it's not like hard. I'm not like I'm not pulling my own teeth to just like get something posted or like racking my brain about captions. I'm just like, it's more integrated now. And I don't know, it's much easier than it was for me the first time around when I was trying to do it. And like I said, like Katie did vastly most of the work whenever we were doing social media for our other projects. And so I wasn't even doing that much, and it was stressing me out so much. So I never would have seen myself being able to do it the way that I do it now. But hopefully that answered your question. That was kind of a story, but it has really been a transformation over the years.
And then now collectively,
Yeah.
we just came up with another channel in social media with a podcast to pretty much, I guess, continue what, we ultimately want.
Yeah.
Is, to bring awareness, to help others, and to pretty much model all the the better practices that we have found throughout our experiences, and warn others what not to do. So I think it's kind of like becoming like a full circle moment. And then also to like ultimately is one of the things that I didn't expect that came out of this was now, because we're selling in multiple platforms, in different platforms, majorly eBay mostly, now we get a chance to actually give feedback to eBay, and talk to their employees. Never would have ever thought back then when I started social media that we would be given an opportunity, because we openly share our journey.
Yeah.
Then like these companies, perfect example like eBay, be like, wait, you're sharing your story, why don't you share to us how your experience with the app or with the website, how can we better it? So now we're not just directly affecting people with how to do their own business, but we're actually helping the platform that we sell on.
Right.
So now I feel like there's actually a lot more weight, because if they're listening to my feedback, it actually helps my business ultimately, and all because it started that I want to help others.
For sure.
The
now
it's just like
keep expanding. Which is so cool. Like, I've had the same thing where I've been able to bring a specific feedback from somebody else's experience, even if I haven't experienced it for myself or whatever. Somebody runs into a snag and talks to me about it. Well, and then lo and behold, like, I'm in the room with somebody who can literally fix that on the platform. It's like, hey, you're the perfect person to talk to about this thing that, somebody else I know ran into. And I never would have thought that I'd have the opportunity to do that. But it's so cool because, we all rely, obviously, so much on these platforms, especially eBay, like you said. And so being able to have that extra way of helping, like, not just ourselves and our own businesses, but anybody who's doing business on the platform, like, we really are going to bat for you and ourselves and the good of all of us, And I mean, for eBay too, like, you guys know, I love eBay. I've literally referred to it as like my first love of my life in terms of platforms. And it's true.
Yeah.
I want eBay to succeed and keep growing and improving all the time, as it should, as any platform should.
We all love eBay.
We do. We certainly do.
E3.
I know. So my daughter, how I had that little eBay monkey that I got.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
on
on
eBay.
Canvas.
That is like her favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
What?
little plush. Yeah, just never lets that one
That's
go. We even had to
adorable.
take it today when she got her shots.
Oh no.
Like, she
Oh, wow.
loves the eBay monkey. Like, it's
Wow.
just like her favorite. So I don't know how that happened,
She has
but
great
out of
taste,
all
obviously.
Right.
the toys, that's the one that she
She's
loves
like-
the most.
She's
So,
like, this is the one that, got me all this other toys. So I gotta treasure this one.
yeah, this is the one that introduced me to the rest.
That's hilarious.
So
But
Yeah.
also to segue, because of social media, because of us, willingly wanting to share
Oh yeah.
our knowledge, we actually this week was able to give away a brand new iPhone 15 in a Seller Club Green in partnership with List Perfectly. That one partnership that probably wouldn't have happened if we didn't have social media. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. So thank you, List Perfectly, for partnering with us and trusting us to run a really awesome giveaway.
It was
probably one of
awesome.
the most banger,
yeah,
banger
100%.
giveaway. And Glenn, why don't you congratulate our winner?
All right, so we announced the winner on Monday. So that was our last time that we had mentioned it, and we kind of teased it a little bit too. That we're like, hey,
Yeah.
we're not gonna announce it on this episode until
Right.
you actually go on later on and see. So you know what I liked about it too is like the little Ken had that little. Well, it showed all of the names that were there, just like
Yeah.
randomly.
Oh my
jambling
gosh,
up. So
so
I was like, oh, man.
many.
I know. Exactly. So, Sparkle Diaries has won. Congrats
Yeah.
to you.
Yes.
Brand new iPhone 15 unlocked.
And let's be real,
Yeah,
probably some other goodies as well.
Oh,
Oh,
other
for
goodies?
Sure.
Oh,
yep,
man.
there are other goodies.
There's always like
so-
icing on top, you know? Always.
Yeah, always,
Very
always. In the Seller Club style, you get way more than what we promised you.
But I
But
mean,
yeah, we
an
wouldn't be
iPhone
able to do
15
this without List for List
great.
Perfectly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, List Perfectly, thank you again. And, of course, hey, cross-listing, you got to get the cross-listing done across multiple
Yeah.
platforms. And because of that, too, getting on Mercari, I know I was talking to, I forgot what his title was, though, from Mercari that had reached out as well to also get feedback on their platform.
Oh,
nice.
cool.
And we've given feedback also for Whatnot, you know, me
Yep.
and Ken, and of course now with eBay as well. So the social media part, the cross-listing part, it's all working together.
It is all working together.
Yep.
I would like to report also, in the spirit of List Perfectly, that my cross-listing experiment is still continuing. I'm up to like, still have around 100 items on Poshmark, maybe give or take like a few. And then I have 100. I'm locked in at 100 on Mercari because they're not going to let me have more listings until I do
That's
like
right.
4 sales or something. Not sure.
Did you
There's,
sell anything
there's,
from the last time we talked?
yes, I
Did you
think,
sell
I think
anything?
I've sold one other thing. So,
Oh, okay.
which is great, but it's like, there's some threshold there that I haven't met yet of like minimum number of sales before they'll let me just like do whatever. So that's fine. So then my next one has been Depop, and I have like over 60 listings over there. So that's pretty cool. I have made a handful of sales, and you know, like those were items that I'm listing everything first on eBay because that's just my process already. And so, you know, interestingly, like it's really interesting and cool to see things selling more quickly on other platforms, and like what those things are, and just the process of like shipping on another platform, and you know how the whole transaction works. Like it's been pretty interesting to see. So I'm definitely
Oh,
going to keep going, and hopefully, I've probably already said this, but in case I haven't, Mercari is my favorite. So of the ones I've tried. So hopefully they will
Okay.
let me list more than 100 and I can spend more time on those. But, you know, if I keep hitting like 100 is kind of my baseline for testing out a platform. So if I, you know, hit 100 with Depop and I've still got a ceiling with Mercari, I'll probably try another platform after that and just keep going on like that until I can figure out which ones I like the best and put more listings over onto those. But one option with List Perfectly is to list directly to Instagram and Facebook, right? And have you guys ever tried that? I'm just curious. I haven't.
I
haven't
haven't,
either.
but if I did, I would probably build a whole new page just for like the brand.
Yeah, like selling a
And-
selling
yeah.
account. Yeah.
You know, if I was only selling hats, I would definitely create like a hat brand
Yeah.
type of thing and get those hats listed using
Hustler hats,
Like,
obviously.
through
Like
that.
Hustler hats.
Yeah.
hats, yeah.
That's what it's writing itself.
Exactly. Hustler hats, exactly.
Listen, write
then I would
in
build
or
it
find
that
us
way.
on Instagram and let us know if you would like to see a Hustler Hats account.
Oh man.
Another social media account.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, another social media.
Yeah,
account
he
and
doesn't have
more
enough on his
listings.
plate.
No,
he need
he
one more.
definitely does not. But I do
Yeah,
think,
you're not done.
yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, I would probably try it. Probably not to Facebook because I just don't really want to be over there. But
Mm-hmm.
I would probably try it to Instagram and just see what happens. Like
For sure.
I mean,
Yeah, and then ultimately, Instagram has a Instagram shop already.
Right.
Like, I don't exactly truly know what the requirements to become one, but like I've seen accounts that obviously probably have built their credibility or have
Yeah.
passed through their requirements that like you could actually click on the item that have you guys seen those? It has like a white dot.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
so that way you could check out through there. And because I've clicked on it and it brought me to my a Shopify store or an account or a website.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that could be one of the requirements. But like there, one of the things that maybe to wrap things up and circle back, is social media really necessary to run a business, or be in this industry or be in a community? I think it is, to truly explore and maximize the potential of the product that you're selling. I think it is very beneficial for you to have a social media presence. I look at it as a free marketing tool that you when you have an Instagram account, or just stick to one. It's
Yeah.
free.
I feel like if
Instead
I
of
can
back
do
in
it,
the day.
you can do it.
Yeah. Back in the day, if you're printing like flyers, right, or
Yeah.
something like that. Like I actually don't carry any business card. It's literally Instagram. Like everything I do, you can find in Instagram, and all my links are through Instagram. So I think everybody should at least try it. And if you've had a bad experience like Anna,
Yeah.
second chance is always available.
Yeah.
And
You don't have to stress
and
yourself
I
out,
think-
as it turns out.
yeah, and I think that's the best part. Like you said, that's the key word. Like if it's something that stresses you, evaluate
Yeah.
why it stresses
Do
you.
it different.
Is it because do it differently, right? Like maybe you were just a little bit, you allow yourself to be distracted with the toxicity that's available there, or all you got to do is just unfollow all the negative things that you see and follow the positive people that will help you. So mentally and
Yeah.
and business wise, it eventually becomes a good positive reinforcement if you use it properly. So like any other tools, it could be deadly.
Totally.
But if done right, it could be great. What's your last words, guys? Let's go with Glenn, and I can wrap it up.
I just think that I agree with Ken. It has to do. You have to have a social media presence, building a business now. Not necessarily in eBay, right? I mean, if you're selling, you could focus on selling, build a business. You don't need a social media. But if you're planning on building a business where like you sell on eBay, but you have like a storefront or you have a website, custom website, then yeah, you're definitely gonna need as much marketing as you can through social media. So I definitely agree there. And even with Facebook, I know how Anna was saying, like, don't really want to be on that side or something, because Facebook has changed a lot through the years. But I know a lot of people that have found success early was because of like Facebook Live and like Facebook. Those pages are huge now. And that they've been
Facebook page and even
building.
Facebook groups.
Oh,
Facebook groups
Yeah,
sourcing
are
stuff
crazy.
to flip on
100%.
Marketplace, like, come on.
Yeah.
In some
Yeah.
areas,
That
that
too.
is like absolute gold.
Yeah, gold mine.
Don't knock
Yeah.
it till you try it, for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I agree with Ken on that point. And I would just say if you're looking on selling, you enjoy selling, I would probably do it the Anna way and build up the business first. And then if you want to share and kind of go community wise, take it slow, but keep the business going, at 110%.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I feel like I benefited from having not had a social media presence all that time is that by the time I did it, I felt confident about what I was doing, I wasn't like, I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing, but I'm going to share it anyway, which is totally fine and actually really helpful, I think. I really don't think you have to wait until you've mastered something to share it. Like, you can share from the middle, and I really believe in that a lot. But, you know, just the way it transpired with me, like, the things that I shared that I felt like were definitive, like, hey, it's a good idea to do it this way. Like, I felt 100% confident about making those claims because, like, I had been living it already for, like, years, and it worked, and I knew that it worked. It was not a hypothesis, you know? So I felt pretty good about that. Like, not, I don't know, just confident about, I knew what I was doing. So even though it is changing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. I think great takes today
Yeah, totally.
on the social media side. Anything else before we go?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see you in the next episode.
Totally.
See you next month, pretty much.
Let us know your thoughts
you know.
on social media if you want.
Yeah, connect with us on social media. Follow us on Instagram at Seller Club Podcast, and also with our partner with List Perfectly. Don't forget to use our code. Oh, just Seller Club. Seller Club Pod. Seller Club Pod.
That's the
to
one.
get extra 30% off of your first month. And if you have any other questions with regards to List Perfectly, reach out to us. We will direct you with our VIP customer service. They do have great customer service.
They do have great customer service. They've been holding my hand through this whole process, and it's been great.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if Anna can figure out, you can
Listen,
figure it
that's
out
right.
too. So there you have it, guys. It was a great episode tonight, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
See ya.